Yo, it's me, Max. Harlem should be here any minute. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be just hanging out tonight, looking at a couple of things. Audio's checked out, everything's good. First things first, let's pull up the website. As always, you can find, oh, there's Harlem. As always, you can find all of our links and projects at heka.uwu.ai. It's at the bottom of the screen for the entire stream. This is what it looks like. With Neon Seed coming out, Harlem, you can hear me, right? Let me check your audio. Okay, good. I can hear you. You're good. All right, cool. Yeah, with Neon Seed on the way, we're 100% done with the inks. Shading and tones are, I would say, like maybe 60% done. And then color is somewhere behind that. So it's very, when we have like that on Global Comics and we have some things behind Kofi, we'll be pushing that a little harder on X, but we open every stream with it. I'm proud of our work. How you doing, dude?
I've been chilling. Having a chill day for once.
That's good. That's really good. You've got a game for Platinum tonight. I brought some books to look at. We're going to be looking at, I got a very old Chinese cookbook from the 30s that was given to me for the holiday season. So we'll take a look at that. And then I have a comic book to look at. You've got a game. And then we're going to take a look at Global Comics as like a little bit of a break because they have a holiday sale going on. And I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. I threw you the link, but we'll see. We'll just look at the front page, We'll see what they have from major publishers. We'll see what they have from indies. We'll see what's at the top. And then look at discounts and just kind of do a little bit of pro bono shilling for Global Comics because that's where our comic is going to be free at. What do you think? Sound good?
Sounds good, yeah.
All right. Did you want to talk about because now it's getting controversial, I guess, but did you want to talk about the Insomniac leaks and some of the hackings and leakings because our conversation got cut short last time?
Yeah, sure.
All right. It's a good enough place to start. Because so a little bit of context here. I have one child and I have another child on the way, and he really wanted to play with the microphone and was having a hard time getting to sleep. So we cut the stream short so I could, provide some assistance. But we try to keep it to like an hour here because we're real people. We got shit to do. We got stuff to work on, lives to live. But anyway, the Insomniac leaks hit. Primarily the interest right now is Wolverine, but it was a terabyte of data. So there's a lot to look at there. But then I wanted to also throw into the mix of this, I wanted to get your opinion on the GTA 6 hacker being put in a medical jail and essentially being locked up forever until he's medically cleared. That shit blew my mind. I didn't even want to talk about that out loud necessarily, but I wanted to hear what you had to say. So yeah, take it away, man.
I mean, as far as I know, they offered him a deal or something, and he was like, nope. When I'm out of here, I'm gonna hack it again. So, he's definitely not mentally stable, to say something like that. That's at least what I looked at online and people were talking about. He seems to be a scumbag from all the things he done.
Yeah.
He could have just leaked the fucking game data, but he went out there and leaked the...
Isn't he part of like a team that has also hacked NVIDIA?
Yeah, he seems to be a part of the team, but then like the team says he's not a part of the team. It's complicated.
Okay.
Seems like he did some minor stuff with them, and then it went down. But he's a piece of shit because he could have just leaked the game stuff, and I wouldn't have minded. But he leaked like a lot of the company's staff personal documents, like ID and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Payments and stuff. So. He's a piece of shit. He probably deserves to stay there. I'm not gonna say for life. I think he probably needs to stay there for at least 7 years.
I mean, there's no timer on like medical, like hospital prisons are weird because you're basically just in there until you're cleared.
Yeah, you'd rather be on a normal jail. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
But anyway, let's talk about the Insomniac stuff. So a lot of places are like not willing to cover it, but the big thing that happened since we talked was an actual playable build is out there, and then ISPs are sending out, you know, cease and desist or whatever the hell they're sending out. Did you hear anything about this?
Yeah, I heard they're sending a lot of
Yeah,
cease
tell
and
me.
desist. They were sending people, depending on the government, like the ISP basically gives you away to the copyright holders and
Yeah.
stuff. That happens when you download a torrent and they get you and they get super mad about it. And they, depending on the place, you need to pay a fine or some shit or
Yeah.
repairs and stuff. In Brazil that doesn't happen, so I can do whatever I want. Thank you, Brazil. One of the things you are to a good country, but you know I didn't download the leaks. I don't really like leaks. I think it's disappointing to be like experiencing a game first time not the way the devs intended. I think it's takes away from the hype,
I
the initial hype of the game to have it revealed like this. So I think it's horrible.
I agree somewhat, but then part of me is also just like all the hype is for money. Like make specifically like it's the marketing is what's ruined really. And if a game is
Mm-hmm.
actually good, it doesn't matter if the marketing is ruined. It can, right? There are good games that have gotten done dirty, and then people don't buy them, but it turns out that time proves later on they were good games. That but that's also just because people are focused on the marketing and not the content. So part of me is almost like, well, like say something that we were working on, leaked, even though we would obviously be the ones to leak it. I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, well, that's out there. Because it's okay. I mean, I don't know how playable the build is. I don't know how deep it is, but it's more than just screenshots and shit. Which is pretty
Yeah, way
interesting and
more.
pretty rare. That didn't even happen with GTA 6. Like there were a lot of leaks, but it was limited to just screenshots and videos. So have you heard anybody who have you heard any opinions of anybody who's played it, or is that pretty much been sequestered? Is that pretty much just being banished from the internet
I
fast
see
as fuck?
modders. I see modders fix it, the build, to play on PC. That's the most insane shit I ever seen. They're literally like putting it together, like the code that they had, and fixing it to be playable more than it was. They made like a little arena for Wolverine to fight people, like a wave game. I was like, feels like a survival game. The modders were doing with the assets they were given.
It's kind of cool.
That that's insane though that they would like fix it and make a little bit of arena game with it. Like, crazy shit. Like, but what modders do? Modders literally carry games from certain companies like Bethesda.
M-
So
my sense has always been that the more ravenous people become for like the next thing is really just because that you know the IPs are locked up and owned, so we can't like do anything with them. Like you can't make your own Wolverine game, or you couldn't like crowdfund, a Wolverine thing or whatever. But I think people just like to, like when something leaks like this. I think there's like a subset of people who like to just tear it apart and make something of it, and remix it and turn it into whatever they can. It's pretty sick. All right. Let's do a segment, man. Let's move to a segment. Let's do you wanna do platinum?
hmm
Yeah. This will be a fun platinum. Because this is kind of an interesting game. Alright, let's run the intro.
You've played the games, you finished them, you watched the credits roll, but did you get the platinum? 100 platinum trophies, 100 games, one player. The Heka Collective presents Platinum, Soul on Display.
Alright. We're back. Tonight we're talking about The Wolf Among Us. I'll give it away. I'm familiar with this game. I never played it, but I did play all 5 chapters of Telltale's Walking Dead, so I know the format.
Mm-hmm.
But these are all your picks. You picked this one. What tell me about it. What were you thinking when you picked it? Why is it on the list? Why'd you get the platinum? Etc.
I really love Telltale games. I played most of them. Played like The Walking Dead. Played like Tales from the Borderlands. All of that stuff that they did. And this one kind of stands out a little bit for me because of how well written it is. It's basically on the DC Vertigo comics, I think. The Wolf Among Us. And I think it was perhaps one of the last games before they went under and then came back. And this game has a lot of charm to it. You know, the way that they do the world building is so well made. Because in the game you actually have the Book of Fables. You can read more about characters, and the tales they were based on. Because this is supposed to be a modern rendition of so many fairy tales from the past, and the fairy tales living in our current world. So it's a very interesting uh, theme, I guess, to the game. And for gameplay's sake, it's pretty much the same as any other Telltale game. You go, you talk to people, that type of stuff. It's nothing like different from the other games.
Right.
But this one has like a very specific shading to the characters. It still has that Telltale cel-shaded look to it, but this one is a little bit more special because sometimes they use some bright colors to make the scenario and stuff. It's very stylized.
Let me step in here because I will say that having played the Walking Dead series, that was one of the best things about it. Was it's like one of the only times where the actual comic book style was translated very well into 3D environments and interactive, type stuff.
Sometimes it feels better than some comics out there. The ones that trace cars and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks better than actual comic books, which is amazing to me.
Yeah. No, I feel well. I mean, I think it's like a long been sought after to achieve a kind of perfect, shaded, outlined 3D like comic book look. There's a lot of stuff that goes for this and really pulls it off. Like I know you're a big fan of Mad World, and Mad World is very obviously meant to look like a comic book come to life, or like a manga come to life or something. Wind Waker's another one. They wanted it to look like an animated television show that your kid was playing when you walked by. But this is like this one and The Walking Dead, because they're both based on comics. They have like you're saying, they have a style that is being translated, and it's translated pretty well, I suppose. So that's super cool. So okay, the platinum. Now, is the platinum linked through all 5 chapters? Do you have to play all 5 chapters? Does each one have a platinum? Like, how's it set up?
I think you have to play the game like 2 times basically, and you need to like unlock the full Book of Fables. So sometimes you need to replay a scene, and there's a scene where you can beat the guy, and if you just beat him, you unlock a page in the Book of Fables that says something, or if you go there and chop his arms off, you get another pig. So you need to play the games basically like 2 times to get the platinum. But it's a very, very simple platinum. It's like a 2 out of 10. Just because some of the scenes you can't skip. Yeah, some of the scenes you can't skip, and it's kind of garbage to have to replay some of the parts. You already know what's going on.
As the Telltale games go, where would you place it? I know you said not story-wise, but just how they do things. You know how their puzzles work. You know how their interactivity is. They've made a lot of these games. They had a lot of IPs that they, everything from Jurassic Park, Walking Dead. Where would you put The Wolf Among Us? Is it at the top? Is it the best Telltale game?
I wouldn't say it's the best, because the best I still think it's The Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah.
I still think that game is
the first 5 chapters of season 1 are pretty peak.
But I'd say it's up there. But it's so hard because every game that Telltale does, their writing is always on point. I never felt like in any Telltale game, I never felt like what was happening on the screen was uninteresting or it
Yeah,
was
for
boring.
sure.
It never happens. They always
There are
have like
peaks and
something for you.
valleys. There are ups and downs, but highs and lows in the writing. But there's never anything where you're like, ah, fuck this. This is stupid.
Hmm. I always felt like it was satisfactory and I think the best way to describe their stories is that they are always engaging. Like you're
Telltale's not
always
around anymore,
engaged.
right?
They are. They came
They
back.
came back.
They're
Okay,
making.
I wasn't
I
sure.
think they're making The Wolf Among Us true. So that's why I picked this
Okay,
because it seems like it's their next game is The Wolf Among Us true.
all right.
And this game has a lot of twists too. Pretty good game. I just think at the time this game came out, the engine of Telltale was it was starting to show problems. And it was
Right.
not problems related to graphics. It was more like you could visually see the game stuttering at times. Because their engine felt like it was being held by gum.
You wanna know what's crazy is I
No.
played the Walking Dead games on an iPad because I like
Mhm.
when I played them, I just had that's what I had around, and it was pretty good. But I remember it not, nothing ran perfect on the iPad like 2 or whatever it was years ago. It was 2012.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so easy platinum to get, good story, worth, you know, sinking your teeth into. It's probably not too expensive of a game. What can you play it on in 2023? Where is it available? Do you know?
I think it's. I think it's even on the Vita. I think it's on phones, Vita, Steam,
So just
Xbox,
anything,
PlayStation.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool with supporting everything they can. Don't play the Vita version though because I heard it's dog shit.
Have you looked at any of the comics? Because you played the game or prior to playing the game? Do you have
I
anything to say
I
about
want
that?
this is one of the few comic books that I do plan on buying and reading the original story. Mostly because I think I became a lot more invested in the world that they built, and that was something I did not feel for comics since the Valiant comics. I don't know if you remember if you know Valiant,
Yeah,
but
vaguely. And keep in mind, I'm
mhm,
more of a manga guy, but yeah.
mhm, because Valiant had a lot of crazy stuff into their comics as well. And I know, I like more of the more adult-oriented comics, like, manga. Ghost in the Shell is my favorite manga of all time, so I'm more oriented towards that. But I
Well,
feel like I'm gonna probably buy the comics to read someday.
awesome. Awesome. I would say anyone could check this one out. This is not a hard one, as you said. And
Hmm.
if you're looking for more of a story than a game with a little bit of interactivity, you can't really go wrong with The Wolf Among Us. And I can even go ahead and say, check out the Walking Dead. They didn't do a Last of Us Telltale game, did they? It
No,
seems like they should
not
have.
yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. It's
But
gonna happen, I
the
feel.
first season of the first 5 chapters of Walking Dead 2, I can recommend. I can't recommend the second season because I never played it. But yeah, Wolf Among Us,
I,
check it out. Yeah, final word. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I also did The Walking Dead season 2, but that's for some other
Yeah,
episode.
you can tell us if you've platted that one. All right, let's flip
Mhm.
back to the other set here. Sick. Good work. All right, let's take a break. Let me see if I can pull up let me see what this pulls up real quick. Hold on. Nice. Okay. I've got Global Comics pulled up for the stream, and I'm just gonna like go through and I'm gonna see if their front page gives anything away to us. Right now they have a sale going on, so this is just like a quick break and a little bit of a commercial. You can find us on there. Not gonna show it too hard, but you can just look for the Heka Collective. We are on there. We've got a lot of like free art books and stuff. But if you look and see, the big heavy hitters on here are like Invincible and Saga. There's a lot of Image books and Boom Studios if you like Power Rangers and stuff. Damn, that's crazy. It's a pretty good service. I know the other like we can talk about this for a little bit instead of just making a full-on ad. We can actually include a little bit of quick discourse here. What is this, Bad Egg Publishing, which is Moist Critical and like a bunch of other YouTubers, their comics are on here. I don't know how good any of these are, but if you're into like YouTuber comic book, you know, fucking product or whatever, I know for a fact a lot of them are on here, and most of them are published by Bad Egg, and I'm sure some of them are decent, but if you're not looking to like pick up a physical one and you wanted like a fast access to see if they're decent, I know they're on here. So like if you watch any of that and you know about any of these comics, you probably already know that, but I thought that was cool because I've been meaning to like look at Godslap for like work, basically. You know what I mean? Like, we're making a comic, I gotta read other comics, and I did not want to buy a physical copy of Godslap. And then I was like, oh, you know, my wife, she has the gold membership, I can just look at it for free, which is fucking awesome. And yeah, if Invincible is on here, The Walking Dead is probably on here too. And yeah, if you get a gold membership, you can read anything you want. You can read the whole fucking website, I'm pretty sure. Probably shouldn't say the F word, but they're not paying me, so there you go. Is it available in Brazil, Harlem? Were you able to like access the website?
Yes.
There are 11 comics in Brazilian Portuguese on here.
Wow. It's
Interesting.
gonna be one more soon.
Yeah, we'll be putting out we can talk about that a little bit too. We'll be putting out Neon Seed in multiple languages, all the digital versions, other than I think if we do a Chinese version, we have to censor it. So we have to figure out how to do that. But most of the alternative languages will be available for free in black and white on Global Comics. And the first chunk is about 76 pages, so you're gonna get a nice amount to read. Sweet. Let's move that out of here. Cool. All right, let's chill for a second. We've got some books to look at, some other stuff that we can do. I'm not gonna do another pick of the week of indie comics until after the holiday. So that's why I was like, let's just take a peek at the front and see what they still have. I know Global Comics is crazy because I know they're making all these deals for digital comics, and they're trying to figure out how to like do print on demand. Which is like, that's the new frontier, man. The new frontier is like, you're reading a free comic and you really like it, so you just are like, send me a copy, and the website that you're on just prints one and mails it to you, or mails it to your local comic shop. The guy who's running that thing is really cool. Their Discord, they're really like available. It's strange because they're playing with a lot of money now. You want to see some crazy books?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if you got the stream up, so you can take a peek.
I need to find the link.
Yeah, it should be public. But anyway, I'll let me pull up the document cam, and we can take a look at some stuff. I want to show you this cookbook I got. Look at this thing. This thing is crazy, dude. It's from the 30s, and there's writing in it that's dated 1943. I gotta be kind of careful with it. It's really old. I'm gonna scan all of this, so if anybody's looking at this and they're like, whoa, I want to see that weird Chinese cookbook that they were talking about, I'm gonna scan all the pages and just put them on Twitter or something.
Chinese cookbook.
Yeah, man. And it's like pretty darn old. Pretty like really old, but it has a bunch of a bunch of information, like cultural information about China. And then it has not really recipes, but it has like almost like a glossary of food. And these are kind of like written out as recipes, but nothing's really measured. It's really wild, and there's all these illustrations in the corners. I'm gonna look a little bit more into it, but I thought I would just show you this because I have it. It's a pretty cool present. I have a lot of weird books like this. A lot of strange stuff like this. But yeah, there you go. Just a little flip through. Chinese cookbook. No idea.
That's such a sick artwork.
I know,
for
and
the
then like
cover.
nothing on the back, like it's just like a staple binding, like totally crazy, right? Wild stuff. I was hoping
That's so sick.
that for this next one, I was hoping Coleslaw would be here. Because I'm not really doing, we don't really review anything. We do surveys. We have that like policy of like, we don't want to talk about anything that's not good to begin with. So there's no point in necessarily reviewing most things. It's either good or it's great. So yeah, I mean, we could do this as a good, maybe great, or I could just show this off. But I wanted to show off this comic because I never got a chance to talk about it. But I got it a couple months ago, and it's a Narwhal comic. But Coleslaw has met Narwhal. He like had a drink with Narwhal at Rose City Comic Con, like after the con. Let me move some of these so they're not directly under the light. But yeah, can you see the document cam? This is Earthbound Grand Prix, and like we talked about the other Earthbound books. I have them right here. I could just dump a big pile of Narwhal books like right on the document camera right now, but I won't. But I recently reread this book. Like I got this months ago and read it, and was like, I think I made a post about it, and then I finally like have the chance since we've been going live to talk about it a little bit. And Narwhal's kind of crazy, right? Everybody likes Narwhal because Narwhal is like a crazy genius. And I don't know. I would say you kindred spirits, you know what I mean? Myself being a little bit of a crazy person, I identify with his vibe. And this like series, man, Earthbound, we did a big collab. I did a big collab with Redux, and there's a video on his channel on Paper Starship about Earthbound, about the other series. And I guess this is kind of like a follow-up continuation. It's like, you don't need to have read the other books, but here this is. And I just like wanted to briefly talk about Narwhal. And this book is good. Like if you like the first two Earthbounds, I'll give like a quick rundown. If you like the first two Earthbounds, this is a fun continuation of that story. You can jump into it. You don't need to have read the other ones. If you've read them, you'll see returning, familiar faces. If you haven't, you won't exactly be super lost. And it's got the signature style. His drawings, his like character art, and then the Blender, backgrounds, 3D animation stuff. And I like it. You know what I mean? I like the boldness of it. I've always liked his kind of mixed media art thing he's got going on, and it feels right for like where I think with Redux I talked about how it like if there was going to be a hybrid American manga type look to something, weirdly it's this, because there's like more range and expression in some ways of the characters, right? Because he's pulling from other things, and he doesn't have to draw these kind of like stock manga and anime faces. He's not constrained by certain just standards of sensibility. But then the 3D stuff like always gives it a very different look, like a very unique look, because you can tell he puts almost as much work into some of these backgrounds as he does the drawings, and that is unusual these days in comics anyway. And he's just doing it in a different way. But regardless, Narwhal's like primarily a writer. At least I think people know him for like he's good at writing stories, and he has a lot to say about writing. I'd like to get you this somehow, Harlem. I don't know if you'd be into it, because I know you're not necessarily a comic guy, but you might like some of the stuff in here. Look at the back for a second for anybody wants to see. But like I I don't get down with all of the talking about making art stuff. I don't like to talk about how you do this stuff necessarily. And Narwhal does, and I think that a lot of like the stuff that he says is pretty decent. And he knows what he's talking about, and he has like a really good book on it called Interactivity. And it's one of those things where it makes me want to talk more. You know, I'm a very private person. You know that we keep Neon Seed pretty close to the chest for various reasons. But when it's out, I think like because of how he's approached, you know, being a little bit more transparent about his own creativity, I think it's important for us to try to do at some point in the future. Because I don't know, maybe you've noticed this, but like, have you noticed that a lot of people struggle to get started more than more than probably anything else? Like, how many people have you met that have like a seriously good idea, but they don't even know where to get, like they have no clue where to begin or how to find that clue? I feel like that's most people's biggest like problem with any creative endeavor. And it's not just because they don't know how to start, but they don't know where they want to like end either. And yeah, man, I think I'm sure you've learned a lot, not just like how to tell a story, but like we've spent 2 years on Neon Seed, and we had no idea how to do any of this. You know what I mean? And now we like definitely do. We knew how to do some things, like Katano knew how to draw, and I knew how to tell stories. And you know, you had a lot of ideas about where we, you know, what direction we could apply those things, those two skills. And it's like, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people never leave that first step, and we definitely almost didn't. You know, we like, and so regardless, it's like this is now like, here's this book, here's Earthbound 2, and here's right here Earthbound 1, and these are like 3 big books, honestly. And yeah, I mean, I'll turn them up so you can see, but these are big boys. And
I really like that cover.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're cool. I mean, it's like when I'm only bringing it up again because I said it to Redux, where I was like, this is American manga, like this is American anime, and most people might raise an eyebrow at that, but it's literally because of like the characters are simplified, but they're simplified down to mostly their pose and their expression, and it's very like the movement feels very good, and you know, the kind of like camera work and the work of the actors that he's getting from these expressions and these poses, it like carries a lot of weight. And it's why like you can say oh, like this art is not, yo, what is this? Like if you only read like superhero comics, you might be like perplexed by what you're looking at to some extent, but at the same time it's like, no, this should be familiar. This kind of stuff is familiar to me because I see it in manga and I see it in anime, and I can tell like Narwhal's somebody who definitely appreciates manga and anime. He wouldn't hold back about saying that. Like, the dude loves a good story, and he's an animator. You know, he's a writer, a storyteller, and I know he wants to do animation. I know he's trying to build an animation team essentially. But this stuff is so cool. And I know there's like a lot of people doing a lot of shit out there, but he's very unique. So shout out to Narwhal. That's our like, if we're calling this a good, maybe great, this is definitely, depending on who you are, you'll pick this up and you'll know it's good, and you'll think to yourself a lot about if it is great, why is it great? Because that seems to be how he's gotten his fan base the most, is that he just keeps putting, like, I'll do it. I will throw all the Narwhal books down so we can see them all, but he just keeps putting out books, and they're all interesting. Like, even if you don't like some of what he does, he's just keeps doing it. So it's like, if you're somebody who's interested in getting into doing anything creative, go and pick Narwhal's brain. I think he's pretty available. If you have like differences of opinion, I know there's a lot of social conflict in this fucking, you know, side of the internet too. Just put your differences aside and go talk to Narwhal. Narwhal is like a powerful creative. All right, let's get that out of here. Nice. Well done. Pat on the back, everybody. Take a break. We got a platinum. We looked at comics. We looked at a cookbook. We looked at global comics. Nice. All right. Then we can chill, man. You got anything on your mind? You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, not today. Maybe
All right.
tomorrow.
Well, perfect. Then let's go play some video games or something.
Let's play Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll fire up. I think I have to download it, but it won't take long. It's a pretty small game. Okay, then that is gonna be it for us. Let's get this out of here and let's act professional and do this right. If you want to follow anybody in the Heka Collective, go to our website, heka.uwu.ai, and you can find us all on the crew page. You can find the links to everybody else's projects. There's a lot of different people here with a lot of different skills. So if you are a creator, this isn't really like a stream for content or like viewers. This is kind of more for other creators. But yeah, if you need you know, graphics or you need something done, just reach out and we might, you know, be able to help you out. And then yeah, other than that, I think if you're looking for a crew and you've got some skills, hit us up for that too. Harlem's cooking a big project. Neon Seed's about to drop. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty darn good. So you know, we're making some moves here, and yeah, check it out. All right, see ya.